Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Power Core Productions and Podcastings. I'm your host, Javon Harrington, back to hit you with another video. And today, we're going to be doing the Chainsaw Man anime review episode 4 titled Rescue. Now, before we start with today's video, I actually do need to bring up one thing that happened, that being last week's episode. I got the title and I butchered it all the way, and I do apologize for that. I did make the change on the video itself so that it's accurate, although as for the video, even though what I said will still apply, it'll still be a little different, mainly because I have no idea where the title The Way of Water even came from. Every time I kept looking up what was the name of the episode, that just kept popping up, and I just assumed that was the name of the episode, only to turn around a few days later and see the title was called Meowie's Whereabouts, which honestly, looking back on it, would have made a whole lot more sense. I really have no idea where Way of Water even came from, but I have fixed the mistake, and hopefully in the future I will be more accurate with the episode titles. Now, so far I've seen this episode is titled Rescue, and that's what you're going to be seeing on the thumbnail, but again, you never know what can happen with this sort of thing, but I do apologize for the blunder. But anyway, let's get into today's episode review titled Rescue. So we follow the aftermaths of Denji's battle against the Bat Devil. Denji was able to defeat it, rip it to shreds, and its intestines are spilled all throughout the streets. And we get a pretty nice detailed flashback of Power living her life with Meowie, and essentially how Power is feeling the conflicted feelings of love and affection and having attachment. Mainly being is that Power does not like devils. She does not like devils, and she does not like humans, which is kind of a bit of a contradiction, if only because of the fact that Power herself is a devil. Well, more so a fiend. And I do think that's one thing that the audience may forget. So I'm not saying that they have to remind us every week about it, but I do think that the fans would keep in mind to remember, even though Power looks like an ordinary human girl, she's not. She's actually the devil who is using the body of a human, which can only make you wonder who that person might have potentially have been before the Blood Devil Power ended up taking that body. We don't even know how Power acquired the body that she uses in the show. Maybe they'll explore it, maybe they won't, but honestly, you really don't need to, since Power is pretty much her own character now anyway. But still though, you have to remember that we're not dealing with an ordinary human girl, we're dealing with the devil who is using the body of a human girl. But anyway, following the aftermath, we see Power, and she's coming to. Her and her cat are safe thanks to Denji. Power wonders why Denji saved her, and Denji makes it very clear what he's after, and Power simply scoffs at the idea that the boy could really put in that much effort just to fondle some breast. And I would say that that should be considered a joke, but for anyone here who knows that I am a big fan of High School DxD, sometimes the power of sex can be a really great motivation. And I do want to take this side note to say that I think High School DxD deserves a lot more love, if only because I feel like you see a lot of elements that you would have saw in High School DxD in Chainsaw Man. And I guarantee you that a lot of people who will like Chainsaw Man, I guarantee you'll have some of them who wouldn't have liked High School DxD or taken it seriously. Although really though, when Denji talks, when Denji speaks, and the way he acts, I really do get Issei Hyodo vibes from this guy. Like, Chainsaw Man is just a lot more violent version of High School DxD, and even then, in High School DxD, it can be pretty violent, especially in the light novels and in the recent manga adaptation. So it ain't just easy over there either. So the comparisons between Denji and between Issei, I think deserve a lot more comparing, because they really are alike in a lot of ways. Although I will say their redheads are extremely different. And even though, you know, Makima's got her fans, I'm still, you know, I would be Team Rias. Although honestly, if anyone here who knows me truly knows me when it comes to High School DxD. My number one girl is Akano Himejima, and I will not hear any ifs, ands, or buts about it. I know this is a Chainsaw Man review, and I will get to that review, but let me just make it very clear where my allegiance lies. It lies with Akano. Hands down. No debate. It's not up for discussion. I hope you understand. Okay, but carrying on though, as we get back into the episode, Denji, following his fight against the Bat Devil, he's getting ready to ponder the glory that is the chest of power. However, before he even has a chance to do so, he ends up getting his arm blown off as he ends up getting into a fight with the Leech Devil, which is probably one of the more disgusting things that I've ever seen animated, and not because it's a bad character. I mean, it's serving its purpose, but still though, Leech Devil is absolutely disgusting and was apparently in love with the Bat Devil. So I'll leave you to that. Although she was working with, if you could even call it a she, was working with some jiggle. So yeah. But anyway, Denji ends up fighting with the Leech Devil, although he is running low on blood, so he can only form a small chainsaw out of his forehead. But one of the key things about this battle is that, as Denji called it, it's a battle of dreams. And the reason being is that Denji had pretty much had enough. Enough of the fact that people just kept talking down to his dreams about what Denji wants and what he wants to achieve in his life. And what's significant about it is that each person that Denji thinks about who has badmouthed his dreams, they're all individuals who are different. First, you had Aki, who was badmouthing his dreams. He's a human who uses a contract with the devil. Then next, you have Power, who belittles and mocks Denji for his dreams, who's a fiend, pretty much a devil taking over human form. And now you just have a straight up regular devil making fun of his dream also. And Denji calls them all out for it and pretty much says that he doesn't subscribe to the regular or the standard anime protagonist, if you will. You see, Denji is a simple man. And it is because of that that he has become one of my favorite characters. Because I'm a simple person, you know? People, they talk about having big dreams, big goals. You know, we love Naruto, we love Deku, we love Luffy. They have the goals of being the Hokage, of being the king of the pirates, of being the #1 hero. But honestly, the more you watch Chainsaw Man, or for those who've read it, and the more you stop and think about it, the more you wonder, are these dreams really all that great? And I know people are going to be divisive about Boruto and stuff like that, but really stop and think about it. If you were Naruto, would you really want to be the Hokage? Because when you think about it, Naruto being Hokage is everything that's wrong with the series. And I'm going to make a video later on in the future about why Naruto shouldn't have been Hokage, so I won't go into too much detail. But I'll really stop and think about this. When you really think about it, what Naruto thought being Hokage was and what it actually is were two totally different things. And I think if someone had ever truly explained to Naruto what being the Hokage is, I don't think he would have taken the job. Because when you really stop and think about it, for what Naruto is to the village, for what he does for the village, you don't have to be Hokage to be important to the village. Again, I won't go into too much detail, but if you know, you know. There were a lot of powerful shinobi in Konoha who protected the village who didn't have to be Hokage. You don't have to be Hokage. I mean, when you really stop and think about it, for Luffy, he wants to be king of the pirates, but you can kind of argue he kind of already is. I mean, from where they are in the story of One Piece right now, Luffy has defeated Kaido, Big Mom's been defeated, Luffy's now being recognized as one of the emperors of the sea, along with the last few remaining. So I mean, when you really stop and think about it, Luffy's already in a upper echelon of power with the people of his verse. And I mean, once you decide he's the strongest, why can't he be the king of the pirates? Why does he have to find the One Piece? So these are just things to consider. So really, when you stop and think about it, Denji, he's not like most other anime protagonists. He's not trying to go out here and avenge a death. He's not trying to go out here and save the world. He's not trying to do anything like defeat the Devil King or become the #1 this or the greatest that. He's just a simple man. He just wants to live a decent life, a good life, eat good food, work a decent paying job, make some money, and fondle some tits. Potentially have a girlfriend. That's all he wants. And really, can you blame him? I mean, who doesn't want a dream like that? Everyone wants a dream like that. Denji is the kind of person who would have been perfect to work at McDonald's. He'd be the best McDonald's worker that we have ever seen. And speaking from experience, having worked at McDonald's for 3.5 years, I can tell you, no one would hold a candle to Denji. Denji would work his ass off just to eat the waste from McDonald's. And I guarantee you he'd do a better job than half the people that don't even care. But that's besides the point. Anyway, with the episode, Denji fights against the Leech Devil even though he's low on blood, he's not able to use his powers to its full capacity, and he's missing an arm. And he's actually able to get in some pretty good shots, even using the intestines of the Bat Devil to tie up the Leech Devil and try to deliver a few hit and move strikes. However, he does ultimately end up taking the loss and is almost about to get killed. That is until Aki saves him using his contract that he has with the Fox Devil that ends up appearing from smoke and just ends up eating the Leech Devil whole. From here, we do learn a bit more about the special 4th division that has been made by Makima, and we see a few of the other members. We don't learn too much of them, but you know we will going forward as the series continues, and we see the first signs of Kobeni, our girl Kopini, and I'm just throw up the F's in the chat for Kobeni in the comic section because yeah, homegirl, she has it rough. She has it rough. If struggle was a person, it would be Kobeni. Kobeni is the face of the human struggle because, you know, I understand her pain. She's working a job she doesn't want to work, probably being paid like crap, and doing all of this for the most stupid of reasons. If she could be anywhere else, she would not want to be here, except she is. Kobeni, we love you. We appreciate you. And it's going to be alright. Keep your head up, Kobeni. But anyway, after the Leech Devil has been defeated, we see Aki speak with Makima about the incident, and he speaks with Denji. And he tries to understand a little more about what Denji is, what he's all about. And in his mind, working with Denji, working with Power, he sees them as nothing more but tools. Although you kind of see the soft side starting to build up, he does, in a way, care about them. And seeing as how their fight with the Bat Devil and with the Leech Devil didn't cause any casualties, he's trying to look out for them in a sense. And Makima picks up on that. And that's why she pretty much makes him their handler, and he pretty much has to look after them and care for them and pretty much take responsibility over the two of them. And as she calls it, she's basically making him their leash. So again, you see the terminology, treating them as pets, Denji being the loyal and obedient dog, while Power is the ever so straying and ever aloof cat of the group, and Aki is just the human leash that holds them in place. Although you do get to see a bit more of Aki's personality in the way that he is. And you see the contrast between both Denji and with Power. While Power is more of the free spirit who just takes everything in stride, you really do understand just how grateful Denji is for pretty much everything that he has in life. Even so much so to the point where when Power is eating curry and she doesn't want to eat the vegetables, she throws the vegetables out. Denji goes out of his way to catch the thrown vegetables so that they don't go to waste. And may I say, that really spoke to me more than anything else. Because, you know, not to get too serious, but, you know, sometimes we really do take for granted what we have. You know, when you really stop and think about it, when it comes to Denji, you know, you have people, you know, everyone comes from different walks of life. Some people grew up with more of a struggle than others. And with Denji, you just realize his struggle was so damn bad. You know, a lot of times we like to joke and talk about struggle meals, you know, meals made from like random, you know, low cost food that you can put together. This man was so poor, he couldn't even afford a struggle meal. I can't even call what Denji used to eat a struggle meal. He used to pray that he could have a slice of bread that would tie him over for a month. A slice of bread. I mean, seriously. I mean, if Chainsaw Man does anything else, it definitely will humble some people. Because you ever think your life is bad, you just remember how Denji lived. But anyway, we see Power adjusting to her life, living with Aki and with Denji. And we see how even with Denji and Aki, even though they tend to butt heads at times, how even they're on the same page when it comes to basic things like eating right and taking care of the house and stuff like that. I mean, Power truly does just act like an animal and does not care. And Denji, he's pretty much just sick of her mess. Although the minute she reminds him of the deal that they made, all that goes out the window. And we get animated the glorious scene. Glorious, truly beautiful scene as Power sits before Denji and gives him his reward. He may fondle her breasts 3 times, 3 squeezes. He gets to get his squeeze on. 3 squeezes for his 3 acts of service of saving Miaoi, of saving her, and of protecting the 2 of them and fighting valiantly. And the episode ends with Denji. His arms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. Probably would be shit on his sweater already. Aki spaghetti, he's a little nervous. But he's looking calm and ready to get the squeeze on. But he keeps on forgetting something. I don't really know where I was going with this. But anyway, that is the review for episode 4 of Chainsaw Man. Final comments. In terms of the animation, the art style, and the choreography, still top notch. Again, I'm not an expert when it comes to judging animation. I won't claim to be. But I will say, if you watch a show like Chainsaw Man, you watch what they've done so far and what they'll continue to do. Once you watch a show like this, I think you can get a pretty good understanding of what's good and what's bad animation. I mean, for me, I've never really been a big animation kind of guy. You know, like usually for me, if I'm already invested in the story, if the animation lapses here and there, you know, I really won't take too much note of it. I mean, I'm one of the few people who don't mind the bad animation of the 7 Deadly Sins. Although, don't get me wrong, the more it's pointed out, the more you look at it, the more it's hard to, like, ignore. I mean, season 3, I mean, oh my god. But still, though, like, I'm more invested in the story than anything else. So, the animation, it doesn't really do bad for me. Although, I will say, you gotta appreciate the good work. The work that MAPPA Studios has been putting in to Chainsaw Man, it's definitely getting good quality treatment. It's getting, I would say, even beyond Jujutsu Kaisen level, although we haven't gotten season 2 of Jujutsu Kaisen yet. And when we get to the Shibuya arc, October 31st, just past yesterday, we don't talk about Shibuya because nothing happened in Shibuya. Nothing happened, and that's the story, and we're sticking to it. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of the review for Chainsaw Man Episode 4. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that has to come out now and in the future. Stay tuned next week when we do our review for Episode 5. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. Signing off, and I'll see you next time.